Bob is being the good parent, and with the roads as they are, he had a basketball game for Avery, but that's at St. Kate's in the city, then with the roads like they are, we'll be lucky if we get to see him. I just care that he makes it home safely.
No kidding.
So, you get to put up with me, so if you would please bear with me as I try not to be too formal, but formal enough. So if everyone would please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll call this meeting to order at 7:01. Brian, do you want to lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian. And in reading through the district mission, developing learners, empowering futures together, with a vision to become a premier community, bridging learners with their passions and pathways. And at the core of this, enhance learning, advance services and operations, engage community through partnerships, cultivate professional growth and leaderships. Reminder of our protocols is in our agenda. And just for your information, as we get acclimated to this new layout for the agenda, under 1E, our protocol reminders are for us and for respect for all. No sidebar discussions, no interruptions, including our cell phones. State your concern, ensure that you're understood or that you understand, Don't take things personally, adhere to time limits, come prepared, and ensure all are heard. So if I could please get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Hey, welcome, Nancy.
Second.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Katie.
And
then-
Marie, even though we're not supposed to interrupt, can I interrupt to do attendance?
Absolutely, I was just looking at that because we don't have a couple
So
here.
I broke the rule, but hopefully that's okay.
So do we need to add that to this little?
We probably should put that on here, so I will make note.
Thank you, yes, please.
Alrighty, Nancy Dressel,
Here.
Brian Walton,
Here.
Marie Colbeck,
Here.
Bob Gunther, Courtney Kirkowski, Katie Thermos,
Here.
and Patty Shaw.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you very, I was wondering if that was in here. So then we'll move right on to the general report, starting with Dr. Bisick as our superintendent's report, please.
And one thing, we're gonna have to switch something here. We used to have to give that the reminder of the open forum, so people fill out if they want to speak at open forum, the red slips over there.
That should be right at the beginning, shouldn't it?
Right, they should be
Okay.
filled out ahead of time, and then turn them in.
So I'm gonna, if you have one of the agendas that was picked up at the table, we also have those red slips there. We did receive one this evening. If you have something that is not on the agenda that you would like to bring to our attention, it's not necessarily that we will cover it this evening, but you're bringing it to our awareness. And as per this agenda, what it says, opinions and ideas contributed by students, parents, staff, and other citizens are valuable to the school board. The board will receive such input without comment or take no action relative to any item brought forth. They may direct the district administrator to consider such an item at an appropriate place on the agenda or a subsequent meeting. The board has set aside 20 minutes for this purpose, and anyone wishing to address the board is asked to fill out a card prior to the start of the meeting. And please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Do you want that? I guess that announcement should have been made right before I asked for yours, so I'm sorry, we're pushing you back a bit. So if anyone does, if you would please pick up one of those little red slips and slide it up here after you've filled it out. And then we're gonna get a little more formal with this as we get more accustomed to it. But right now, this evening I have one. We'll move into that then after the reports here. So back to you then.
Okay, a few things here. Just want to start out with, with our little rumor mill last week on a perceived threat. We never received a threat. We knew of a rumor about 3 months ago of someone who went to a psychic, and the psychic told them somebody was going to do something in our schools on a certain date. And we were chasing a ghost for like 3 months. Every time we investigated some area and the police were involved with this, it led absolutely nowhere. And each of these issues like this are different. You can always say after the fact, how come we didn't know about it, or why didn't we send out something? Well, you only put out messages to either staff or parents, what have you, if you have fact. And we had absolutely no facts. In fact, this wasn't even a social media issue, it was just a rumor deal, which one of the students involved with it moved away, which really lessened the credibility of anything, because we couldn't track down anyone to get any concrete information of that. And then it kept surfacing every once in a while with a different date and a different name. And each time, everything was tracked down, but again, no credibility to anything. And then just about Wednesday or Thursday, as the date gets closer, somebody brings something up and it starts spreading a bit. And that's why we put the note out to the staff, and then we decided to put one out to the parents. But still, some people ask, well, is there more details? No, we don't have any more details, just that someone started a rumor, and that's what we have. So it's kind of a fine line. Do you perpetuate the rumor and give it credibility, or do you just, I think we maybe got 15, 20 calls, and then as soon as people heard the word psychic, they kind of knew what we were dealing with. And so, again, been in this a long time, you can kind of tell what's a credible piece and what isn't. And I think there's more things that happen around that I would lend more credence to, but we solve them, and life goes on. So again, it was kind of an awkward situation, but we thought we'd err on the side of informing people at that point in time. So I don't know if there's any questions about that, or I don't know if any of you had even called me on it or anything. Usually if there's an issue, you do. But
My daughter sent me a text to ask me if she could leave school.
and you told her.
I didn't respond.
And you don't want to make light of it. You always want to err on the side of protecting our students and our staff and that. But we were chasing a ghost for 3 months on this thing, and believe me, anytime we had a lead, we were checking them out.
So it came from a psychic? Sorry.
Well, that's where it started, we believe. Again, see, we can't.
Okay. That's enough.
And a psychic would know our students' names, I don't think so. But anyway, that's how ridiculous this thing was. But you can see how these things spread, and they cause anguish, and
I think it's better to follow up on it than to just drop it and say not a big deal. And you did.
So, we did what we thought was appropriate. We really hesitated, we were in contact with Bob the whole time on this, just, what do you think, and that, so.
Is the district informed when a portion of the school district is put on a red alert when there was an unsafe situation?
Well, if
in
we
the
have
neighborhood?
a lockdown, typically, you're gonna know right away as a board. And then people in that building, if it's whole district, we'd send something out. But if it was just a certain building,
Well, but like if the county informs a certain neighborhood that their neighborhood's on lockdown because they're pursuing a perpetrator, is it the school district informed?
oh, we'd definitely be informed if it's in if it's in this area, if they're doing something.
Because I think that was part of the challenge that particular day.
Well, there was some other action that happened.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And so I think that caused people who maybe hadn't given credence to the rumor to have concern that there was maybe some unsafety or unrest in the area.
That was totally separate.
Yep.
Yeah, and that they're, through dispatch, when they send out those, if you haven't signed up for their alerts, you're not gonna get the alert. So if you go to stcroixcounty.com into their emergency government system, you can actually sign up, and then when there is stuff that's going on, then they put you on their list and you get that call, and that's what happened. People got the call,
Yep.
and some people did not, and then some kids went by and saw what was going on and videotaped it and posted it on Facebook. And then it just kinda, the two stories by the next day merged into one.
Well, and I do think school safety is something that we need to be continually communicating to our parents. And, as a parent, I didn't know if the school district is informed when the county puts out an alert anywhere in our school district. So knowing that, I think as a parent would help me feel more safe when I'm getting a phone call like that, knowing that the district is also informed and has plans in place and would enact them if necessary. And I think that's all parents want, is they just want to know,
And
be reminded over and over again.
That's very legitimate. And again, every situation is a little
Yeah.
different,
Absolutely.
how you handle it. That and the vast majority of the time, you have facts to go on. and
Mhm.
Like I said, here we're chasing the mystics around.
Mhm.
This Saturday, we're hosting a community visioning with, I think invites have been sent out to the school board, township council, village council, and the chamber to do some strategic planning work together as a group from 8 to noon. Hopefully people can, I don't know what the attendance is so far, because it's being handled through the chamber. Last week I was out in DC for 3 days actually 2 days, for work on a federal committee that I serve on. And it's always interesting going out there, but it's frustrating too, because you gotta listen to the politicians. But a lot of the conversation that we had centered around childhood nutrition, trying to get some relief on some of the regulations that are out there for that, really focusing the effort on other initiatives around child obesity, and also mental health efforts. And those are a couple of the big pushes that the association is looking at. But we spend one day on the Hill with legislators, and then the next day is setting the legislative agenda for the Superintendent's Association. And it's a very effective lobbying group. A couple of years ago, I was out there during the passage of ESSA, and we had a big role in that for a week out there lobbying as that went through. And our contingency spends a lot of time in with the big policymakers, so you can see the effect that grassroots efforts have on federal policy. And I've got several documents here, but they're quite a bit of information. If you ever want to take a look at that, I can send that out. I think that's it, unless there's other questions or.
Did anyone else have any questions? Okay, then on to item B, under what was 2 on this agenda, the financial reports. I see that we got our audit packets for us, so if you like to review these, I find them interesting, but just to give you a good heads up and a comparison. I do hope that we can get those books.
Could you just get these today? I haven't even
Just-
seen them yet.
Yes,
so.
just today, just laying right here, coming in right here for you. Did you want one?
Dave had me put those out, I believe he has
Oh, yes, I probably had a different copy.
No, it's probably exactly the same.
I hope it is.
Now, they also put out you were gonna look into Rochelle for me, and I hope we still can, quick before you hop schools or buildings. Put out by Wisconsin,
WisTax.
Yes, that summary booklet. I'm hopeful that we can each get a copy of that, please.
Let me follow up. There was that long email chain, so.
Yeah, and if you would rather, I can follow up
No,
on
no,
it
no,
too,
because
so-
I've got the chain already, so
Okay.
I'll just send one more note, not a problem.
It just gives how other schools are, and so it gives you points that you can do comparisons on. And absolutely, every school is different, but it gives you some questions. It may help you formulate some questions.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Dave about the check, but does he do a presentation?
We do like to have him do
Does he?
it.
Okay. Well, that's why I was surprised to see these out here tonight without.
This gives us time to look through it though
Okay,
before he does it,
okay.
which I think is good, because then you'd have to do it twice, because we'll get questions after we've reviewed it. I don't want to make the generalization. Do you guys want Dave to do a presentation on it?
Yes,
I think so,
I think you
yes.
do. I think you
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
I think so too, but I don't wanna speak for everyone. So, that's where we'll be at. There is some information additional. He's helping us become familiar with the categories again in our packet.
Yep,
So,
those are great.
they really are informative, I think so too. Even if you've seen them for many years, it's always helpful. On to then item C, school board member reports. Does anyone have, in particular, from any of the listening sessions or other information to share with the rest of us?
I have a question for Trish.
Well, yes, sir.
last week with our work session on Educate Climber.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there a contract you have to sign every year for that, or how does that work?
Yes, we had to sign a disclaimer and a release of information and put appeal through. Mark just signed it actually this week.
And that's yearly? Does it have to be yearly?
Right.
Okay.
Right, in fact, the fees will go down next year
So-
compared to the fees that I showed you when we had our presentation.
Yeah.
It's a $1 per student higher because of the onboarding.
Yeah, it goes from 5 to 4.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I didn't hear anything about that. I was just curious.
Yep, there's annual.
So-
Right. And then we can retrieve any data that we need to if we decide to.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm just excited to go to WASB this week and learn there. And excited for the community meeting that the chamber is sponsoring.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for all of us. Work at things in unity, yay. The sporting events are going on, the play now has started again, but these are all of yours, I'm not gonna steal your thunder. So we're almost there, right now, you wanna share some of that?
Yes,
Thanks very
I
much,
will.
Shelley. On to item D now, student representative report from our phenomenal representative who's getting us comfortable or viewing some of the tools we have access to, or you have access.
All right, so we're in a new year, so we have some new things going on, some old things too. But one of the things we had just this weekend, actually, the robotics tournament happened at Somerset. The Somerset had quite a few teams participating in it, a lot from our school. And actually, 2 Somerset teams went on to win the tournament, which was very cool. Looking at overall, Somerset kind of swept the whole tournament. It was really cool to see. The Spartans one team and the Alpha Spartans team won the tournament, and they also had the Excellence Award, the skill winners, and they were really well represented in the tournament. This is one of the winning teams. This is the entire robotics team. They set up in the multi-purpose room and it went on all day long. I got to stop in for a couple of minutes. It was really cool to see. That was the setup. Sorry, it's the wrong way, but that's the setup in the multi-purpose room. These students spent a lot of time working on it. I mean, there's a lot of late nights in the high school programming. I mean, they have parents in there helping them out, brainstorming, last minute changes, and they work really hard. You have some really hard-working students in there. And they'll be moving on to the state meet. I'm not exactly sure when that will be, but I'm sure we'll be hearing great things out of that. We also, this weekend, high school is a busy place. There's a 3v3 tournament that the Somerset Youth Soccer program hosts every year. It's an annual tournament that includes all ages. It's a really fun day, just getting to play, and it's a great fundraiser for the soccer program. Also, earlier in the month, the French and foods classes went on a field trip to the Sheraton in Bloomington. They got a presentation on different careers in the hospitality and tourism field. Let me see if I can find it. So this was a great opportunity for them to see a lot of these careers that aren't always displayed to them. So they got to see in restaurant management, they got to meet with the head chefs, group sales. They got a tour of the hotel, the facilities, the hotel rooms, the banquet rooms, how the hotel is run. And then they got to sit down for a 3-course French meal, and it was kind of fittingly, it was Madame's 60th birthday, so they got to celebrate with that. So it was really fun for them. So that's them eating their meal, Madame on her birthday, and their dessert, of course. Our dance line team was also busy on Saturday. They competed at the conference competition at River Falls, and they performed really, really well. They got first place in hip hop, second place in kick, and several individuals placed. Gabby Vogel was first place in her category, and she got all conference honors. And Jolie March and Lacey Quist also placed. find the picture. The team with their trophies. They'll be moving on to the next competition, which we're really excited to see because they've gone on to state for the past couple of years. So really exciting to see what they do this year. The spring play has just got announced. They'll be doing Alice in Wonderland. And they had so much interest in the play that they're actually going to be doing 2 casts, which is really exciting to see that our drama program is so popular. I had the opportunity to just kind of listen in while I was working in the art room today, and it sounds like it's going to be a great play, very exciting. We'll let you know closer to the date when they're about to perform. For Student Council, we will be hosting Polar Days coming up at the beginning of February. And this is kind of like our homecoming of the winter. It's a time for us to kind of celebrate and get through these long winter months with some fun dress-up days, activities, and your talent show that we always like to do. If you'd be looking out, we just put in, organized our t-shirts designs, so those will be up on the website and they're available to the community to buy as well. So if you're interested, check that out. Also at the high school, we are going to be doing a winter reward day to promote attendance, positive behavior, and good academics at the school. So eligible students have the opportunity to go to the Mall of America for the day, ice skating, or stay at school for some activities. The students have to have no unexcused absences. They need to be passing all their classes and no detentions. We're just trying to promote performing strongly as a student. As far as our winter sports, our girls basketball team is doing well. They're playing tonight in a tournament at St. Kate's. They've had a really tough schedule this year, but they've been doing really great. With that, our boys basketball team's been doing pretty good as well. They just won a really close game against New Richmond. That was one of the first times in a couple of years, so that was really exciting for them. Our wrestling team competed at the Northern Badger, and several boys placed, which was very exciting to see. It's a big tournament. And then and a couple months ago, several student council members went to Matamidi to check out their Fab Lab, and they videotaped it. So we have the video that we can show you a little bit of the Fab Lab that they are looking at putting in our own school.
Printers. They work by using programs such as SolidWorks that school already has. We can already kind of work with them, but they create a digital object and then send to the printer, and the printer will create this object by using heated plastic filament to create the object layer by layer. At Matamidi, they had several of these, but they also had a scanner that was attached to an iPad. You could scan a person, then they could clean it up on a computer, send it to the 3D printer, and print it like this one is currently being printed. This is kind of an example of a finished one. We also got to see a chess set that a student made, but the pieces were made of a 3D printed model of his friends, which is pretty cool. And it's just kind of an introductory project that they used at Matamidi to introduce them to scanning and designing and creating something with 3D printers. So this is another 3D printer that we saw. It's called an SLA printer. And it works by taking a liquid resin, curing it with lasers, and then building it layer by layer in that form. It creates a more detailed and stronger print than the extruder prints, but however, the resin costs a bit more than the plastic filament does. Our tour guide was telling us about how they can use this for reverse engineering. Like one student, he took a lacrosse stick head, he measured it, he reverse engineered it, programmed it, and then he reprinted it. It was actually pretty strong and it looked really accurate and cool. There's also a student who made a miniature Eiffel Tower as well as a Han Solo frozen carbonite. It was pretty cool, and it's just another way to use 3D printing technology. Another part of the Fab Lab was their vinyl cutter, and this is where a student would create a design on a computer and send it to the vinyl cutter, and it would cut out pieces of colored vinyl, and this way they could create stickers or even t-shirt irons on. Kind of brings us to the next piece, the t-shirt and hat press, where they could take something that they made on the vinyl cutter and they could press it onto a t-shirt. You actually have to watch one student named Zach from Matamidi, and he was making a t-shirt for his dad. But we have the same potential if we were to get the Fab Lab and all the parts, that we could make a t-shirt in, say, like one of the art classes, and then the entrepreneurship class could sell a t-shirt in the school store. So that's just a really cool idea and just one of the many things that could come out of getting a Fab Lab. So there you can see Zach, he's just peeling it away, just going to town, and there's his t-shirt. The next part was the laser cutters, and they would use that. They would start off with a piece of cardboard, they would cut out their design. As you can see, like they made a dragon, hot air balloon. The student we were watching, she was making her last name three-dimensional out of cardboard. And then they could also use it with acrylic, just a colored piece of plastic. So the cardboard acts as their draft, and the acrylic would be their kind of final copy. And as you can see on the chessboard, that's all one piece of acrylic there, but the student, he just lasered the squares, so kind of discolored it to create the squares for the chessboard. The next part we got to see were the milling machines, which work similar to a 3D printer, but instead of building an object up, they mill it away. They would use insulation, but you can also use wood to create kind of, as you can see, like the M or the Eiffel Tower, which is kind of a cool another way to create objects. The other part of the Fab Lab was the shop part of it, which is kind of a combination of our woods and metal shop. But the biggest part was the shop bot, which you program a design into it and it'll go along and cut it out. So as you can see, here's a group of students who are making a wooden sign out of it. There's also another CNC machine, but this one works for metal. So instead of cutting into a piece of metal, however, it kind of cuts a piece out, which would be a really cool addition to the metal shop.
So that's just some of the things they got to see, which is really cool. The students put a lot of work into making that video and showing off what we have an opportunity to have at our own school. And then just this week marks the end of our semester at the high school. So all students will be taking finals up at the high school. It'll be a stressful week, but you know, we got a great new semester starting. For our juniors, there's the ACT coming up at the end of February. So be thinking about our students and sending good thoughts their way this week. That's all I have.
That was fantastic, Shelley. Thank you. Did anyone have any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Always
I just
entertaining.
think you do such a great job. That sounds exciting. That Fab Lab's gonna be pretty neat, but you've got a whole list of really exciting things that are going on. You do such a great job presenting them to us. Did anyone have any questions for Shelley? You do such a good job, you don't have?
Yeah, thank you for being so complete.
Yeah, I hope you get to train in the next one.
Yeah.
If not, we'll be calling you back to show up. No, I'm kidding. We've had some great student representatives. And we will move on to item E, staff, student, and community recognition. Do we have, is one of the administrators going to speak to the crossing guards and to our Silver Spartans, I would think?
Well, since I sort of inherited the lovely crossing guards, I would be happy to speak, especially since I have like one here with us tonight. Come on, stand up, Robin. This is Robin.
We're glad to have you, Robin.
You will see Robin if you come down Sunrise Drive in her bright green, safety green, whether it's 20 below or 85. She's there greeting, waving before school and after school to make sure that our kids can cross over from right across the street from the middle school and get here safely. Our crossing guards do a great job of getting our kids here, providing a safe route to school. And I'm very appreciative of the fact that she's willing to do it both before school and after school in all kinds of weather. And they all do a great job for us and for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Robin. For you, but it needs Bob's signature, so we'll have to get that to you. And I want to recognize the rest of them. Now, she is the only one that's here this evening?
Yes, I think so.
So we also have Sarah Otto, and I'm sorry if I mess up these names, Katie Fox, Samantha Wolf, Wendy Trout, Carol Switzer, Robin Knudsen, Julie Schultz, and Anna Johnson. So thank you to our crossing guards, very, very valuable to the district and to the kids and to us as parents. And then also, it's also recognition for our Silver Spartans, who we have Lori Galarjan and Kelly Larson. Woo-hoo! So we have someone to speak to their excellence.
Would you like to do that? Okay. Since I'm here, I'll talk about words. Stand up.
Hi.
Lori has been with the district for 25 years, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lori. You started as a special education teacher.
Yes.
And then moved into regular education, where she taught English at the middle school for a lot of years, and then transitioned into social studies. So does a great job, great communicator, works really hard for our kids at all, and our teachers at all hours of the day, and appreciative, and thank you for your 25 years. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lori. You are here. If you are here, we know you have to be very sick. So, thank you for what you've done for the district, Lori. And then we also get to recognize Kelly.
I've only known Kelly for 3 years here, but I have really enjoyed the 3 years. A wonderful fourth grade teacher, passionate about helping our kids, and I just really enjoyed getting to work with Kelly. So I can't speak to the other 22, but anything like the other 3.
A couple blinks, I think. And actually, my beginning years, we taught together at the old school. She was in my room as a special education teacher, so it comes full circle here. So thank you.
Well, congratulations for
Thank you.
That's a survivor award.
Yeah, I would think so too. Did either of you have something you wanted to share with the people that are here this evening?
Well, I just, I taught in Clayton for 5 years prior to coming here, and we both decided it was either going to be Clayton area or Somerset area, just for the simple fact that kids were coming and driving, and Rocky, the way I remember is Rocky's 25, so I know I've been here for 25 years. And it's just been fantastic just to be able to have the same schedule, Bruce, myself, and the children, and be able to attend their athletic events, their sporting events, just to be able to have the same schedules, same spring break. It's just been just a fantastic time. So thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And do you have anyone with you you'd like to?
I think we know him. The other half.
And Lori, you have someone else with you as well?
My husband.
Did you have anything?
When I got the letter from Dr. Bezek, it made me start thinking about all the years I've been in the district in other roles. Richard and I both attended school here, so we spent 12 years in the district as students. I figured I've been paying taxes in the district for about 35. Our 2 children attended school here, so I was a parent in the district with kids in the school for 17 years. I worked on, I think, 5 referendums. And I've been attending school board meetings for 29 years. The first meeting I went to was when David was about 2 years old. I had heard that Diane Beeler and the school board were trying to implement 4-year old kindergarten. And I had heard that there were some people in the district who were supporting it. So right away I started doing my research and came to my first school board meeting ever with several page reports stapled and ready to give to the school board members. And I've had their support ever since. All the years I've been working in the district, back to Carol DeLille and Tom Martell and Rex Falzell. I hope you know how much I appreciate the support that you've given. Thanks.
And the same to both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We know you care. Thanks, guys, for sharing your wives with us so graciously. I'm sure it hasn't always been fun. I know, I should say, I suspect. Likewise for the 2 of you, Bob, we want his JH on there for you. So we will be sure that you get those. Thank you both very much. I think we have cake to honor the two of you, as well as Robin, since you're the only one here, you'll carry the load for your group. So at this time, we'll take a little break to pass out some cake and congratulate these recipients.
No,
I just noticed this is not plugged in. So,
Oh, hope it does.
should we, shut it off for our break?
Still recording.
You guys are
So,
also
will
welcome.
you shut it off?
Back, we're gonna welcome him to his role. Here's, we're right at the spot, right here. Yes, and we do have one.
Apologize, I'm late.
Oh, welcome.
Fashion. We're at item 3, open forum. Opinions and ideas contributed by students, parents, staff, and other citizens are valuable with the school board. The board will receive such input without comment or take no action relative to any items brought forth. They may direct the district administrator to consider such item at appropriate place in the agenda or a subsequent meeting. The board has set aside 20 minutes for this purpose. Anyone wishing to fill out the board is asked to fill out a red card prior to the start of the meeting, and please limit comments to 5 minutes. And we do have one, and Melissa, there you are. All right, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi. I typed up what I was going to say today because I always seem to forget what I'm going to say. So my name is Melissa Wright. I am a Somerset resident. I have been for 10 years. I have 4 children in the Somerset School District. I have 1 in high school, 1 in middle school, and 2 in elementary school. I'm here today to speak to the board about why diversity is important in our schools. Today is Martin Luther King Day, a federal holiday. Many schools are closed this day. For example, Hudson School is closed today in observance of Martin Luther King Day. The schools that are not closed have special assemblies, guest speakers, activities related to civil rights. Some advocates contend that it is better to tribute to the King more than simply canceling classes and hoping students somehow use the time in a meaningful way. Our schools do not, in fact, I've been, I'm sorry. At the last 2 years, I have asked the board and talked to the board in regards to diversity and in regards to Martin Luther King Day. And the last 2 years that I have talked to the board, my kids have come home and said that nothing was taught in regards to Martin Luther King, and there was just simply an announcement at the beginning of the school day. I've been told when I've brought this to the attention of the board and to the superintendent that it's been left to the teacher's discretion if they choose to talk about it or not. I feel that if we do have school on Martin Luther King Day, that it's very important to cover Martin Luther King Day. It goes to diversity. It teaches the kids the importance of civil rights, the importance of diversity. I believe that Martin Luther King did many good things, not just for race, but for people of difference, of religion, color, everything. And I feel that that's very important, especially now in this time of day where there are a lot more racism and kids are sponges. I feel like that this would help not only our community but the world if we teach more of it. I did ask my kids today if what was done today in school in regards to diversity. My 2 elementary kids had tons to say. I was very impressed. They had a lot to tell me on what Martin Luther King is, what he did. They said that they watched some video of when they protest and saw pictures of restaurants that had color, whites only, or water fountains that were for whites or for colors. My middle school and my high school students was a little different. They said that they discussed it. My middle school student, they discussed it a lot. She said that they took 3 classes on doing things in regards to diversity, but they watched a video, and the video was called Kid President Martin Luther King. And I've seen some of this Kid President videos, and they're pretty funny, but I feel like maybe not a good choice of video, and maybe something more informative would have been better to show. The kid usually does a lot of jokes and doesn't really get to like the nitty-gritty of the things. My son, who is in high school, said that they watched the video and that was it. There was really no discussion or anything. And in high school, I really find it, I mean, I find it really important in all the schools, but high school is just as important. And I know that for Veterans Day every year, we have a humongous assembly in all 3 schools to recognize the veterans and invite the veterans and just do a lot for the veterans, which is very important, but I also feel that Martin Luther King Day, it should be a day that we do something similar. And I just think it would help with diversity and other related issues that happen at the schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. And yes, you have been here a couple other times, and it's not going on deaf ears. I just want to assure you that we do have that conversation, and we'll continue to have that conversation. And perhaps you have some ideas for assemblies that you can share with principals or throw at us. I think that'd be appreciative to know what format or what we could involve into something for the day, for the students and teachers, and potentially even the community too. So, yeah, it is a powerful and important day, and I thank you for coming today and speaking to us. You did a very nice job.
My husband likes Trivial Pursuit. His question to me today, do you know what age Martin Luther King was when he started college? 15, 19, or 21, and then there was one more. 17. Was. I was impressed. I guessed 17, but I said I'm guessing. It was 15. He's a very sharp man.
You know, Bob, one comment, you know, the districts I've been in, you either don't have school, which is a calendar issue, which is a prerogative, but in any district that I've been in where we've had school, there's mandatory programs. So again, going through this for the first time, I wasn't aware of what was happening or not, so, I mean, we could definitely implement.
Well, yeah, perhaps we can just keep that on the next month's agenda before it fades away.
I am appreciative though, because I think they are making some progress in that they've included it in the agenda, so that's a step in the right direction. But keep bringing it to our attention so that there's so many things on their plate. It's just one more that we need to put a higher priority on. So thank you.
I think as a community, as we learn more and more about civil rights, is that civil rights are for all of us.
Yeah.
And once you give away your civil rights, you're giving them away forever. So it's important for kids to know about civil rights is basically just based on kindness and being nice to each other, and we all have the rights to vote. We all have the rights to the freedoms that are out there. And once you take them away or give them away, it's real hard to give them back, to get them back. So it's important for everybody to get educated on civil rights.
Well, I think as a district, we pride ourselves on creating leaders, and I think Martin Luther King was not only did great work in the area of civil rights, but was a great role model of leadership.
For everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I only have the red card. Anybody else in attendance tonight wishing to speak to the board? Fine.
But we do have some scouts, right? Are we here observing meetings for the protocol? Good job.
They're on their honor.
Good job.
How we doing?
Good, good.
Did you get some cake?
Oh, yeah.
That was what we done, but,
I'm sure there's more over there, so I'll take a look at these briefly. All right, down to item 4, enhanced learning. A, approve the 2017-18 open enrollment chart.
I don't have it in front of me, so it's very close to what we worked off of last year.
Okay.
Well, we have to do it too, so.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion? Is that what we
Yeah,
need?
it's an action item.
And
It's part of a
right
report
now-
that we have to turn in.
So I'll make a motion to approve the open enrollment chart as presented in this packet. Would anyone be willing to second that?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Vern.
All right, motion made and seconded. Discussion.
I was at CISA and heard more about Central's virtual program and how they are actually using it as a way of increasing their open enrollment too, but he acknowledged there's glitches, but there's issues.
Well, there's, you know,
Challenges, not issues.
just from what I've learned of this process and what have you, it's, I wonder why we don't do it. You know, because I know we have to, but again, there's really no penalty for not doing it, but, you know, they wanna know if you're closing enrollment or what have you, and that could change too if we have another staff person, maybe, so this is kind of a best guess, piece here, because I don't think we're gonna be turning kids down, learning opportunities, so again, it's more of a snapshot in time, what we've got room for, knowing that that can change.
All right, motion was made and seconded to approve the 2017-18 open enrollment chart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 5, cultivating professional growth and learning. From our directors and principals tonight, we have, I think, the one waving to me. Trish Sheridan.
That's me. Just wanted to give you a little update. We don't have anything specific tonight, as we've been doing in the past with assessment and school report cards, but we did want to give you a little update. January is the month where we all take a breath and have some time for reflection. So EE, or Educator Effectiveness, we're at our mid-interval reviews. And Somerset does something that's a little unique compared to the surrounding districts, and that is we dedicate time, each one of our directors and principals dedicate time to have a one-on-one or a one-on department, however the goals are written, time with each staff member or teams of staff members to go over their SLO and talk about student achievement and how it's going and how progress monitor it, and talk about ways it might need to be changed as we finish off the second half of the year. They also spend time talking about the PPG, which is the professional practice goal, with each staff member. The really great part about that is that designated time to really look at the data, look at progress monitoring, check in to see how it's going, and then make any tweaks or modifications, which is absolutely fine. The really fun part on my side is we've been looking at the PPGs across our district and what each one of our professionals is working on, and it's a lot of fun to connect the dots and see how we can connect people and connect departments and use each other's growth to help us all get better. So as part of our PLC work for this month, our PLCs have been wrapping up the work on identifying and prioritizing their standards. So looking at essential standards, what do we guarantee for our children, our students out of every single course? To what level of rigor? They've also gone through some data analysis protocols, so now what do we do? How do we measure it? What do we do with that data in order to help our kids that are struggling, also enrich our kids that are already there? So they've been identifying essential standards that have all been aligned to their next unit of instruction. We put them in common formats, and we'll start looking for gaps from grade level to grade level or from course to course. And this next month, they're working on really kind of securing that assessment. How do we know? What is your unit? What is your assessment? Is it common to everyone? What is our level of proficiency? But back to that PPG, our PLCs, now that we understand each other's PPGs, are starting to share their work in a broader audience. So I thought you'd like to know that we have several staff members who have written a professional practice goal around mindfulness, which is pretty cool. So they actually launched us our last PLC meeting date with mindfulness activities and what we can do for ourselves, so then we have that practice of being mindful and then can help our students be mindful, and what that does to the brain and to reduce stress and to help us just be in that moment in a place where learning can occur and we can be healthy. And speaking of wellness, one other thing about cultivating.
Love the segue.
There we
Perfect.
are.
Proud of you. Wellness committee, I have a few things for you coming up with that. Our wellness committee, district-wide, has been working on a few events. We have on January 23rd, that in-service day that Trish had referenced. We're planning some physical and kind of mental activities that staff can participate in. And so we'll have 4, both in the morning and the afternoon, that they can participate in at each building across campus. That will be led either by staff or by some community members. So we're very excited for that. In March, on our in-service day, we're going to have our wellness fair that we had last year in the winter. Based on some feedback, we're going to try it in March and kind of get people excited for the spring. And in the spring, we're again going to have the running club that we had last year, where staff members participated in the Pea Soup Days run as a staff, all wearing kind of our staff wellness shirts. So it should be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. That was fun, she said. That's fun.
Was today fun? I mean, you got the Packer tie on, I mean, it was.
I got more kids that complimented me on this tie than anything else. All I have to do is wear the tie and I'm a great prince.
There you go.
That's a great tie. And the back row coming in here.
So the tie-in with the wellness and insurance, does our insurance provider
I
know about our
am
wellness
super
program?
glad you asked. I'm very excited. I was just talking about
just
this. Dave Gerberding and I just secured, more Dave did this part, but I've kind of been pushing, because I work with Health Partners through UPower, that the opportunities they kind of offer for us. And so they're going to come to our next meeting and talk about some of the opportunities perhaps next year in terms of the insurance and those kind of pieces. So they're coming to one of our upcoming meetings to talk about it, and I just found out today, so very excited for that.
With your work with Health Partners, have you done the Make It Okay training?
I've not heard of
So
that.
Health Partners is really spearheading what's looking to be a national type thing, but it's a Make It Okay. It's a training for mental health. I'm a facilitator of it, but it's only an hour, but it really is about learning how to identify and just how common mental health is and how those issues are, and to get people more comfortable with it. And it's a short community education type thing that's done in an hour, and it can be done for adults, kids, you know, and it really is around just reducing the stigma in mental health. And if you want to start with kids, it just kind of moves it up. But they are starting it around here with the Health Partners groups, and I know they're going out to Washington to kind of promote it in one of the community engagement type things. It's pretty powerful, but they did a training in Hudson, and I think there was 50 people, community members, that got trained, and then they're like messengers, and they go out and train people, and then they just did one, or they're going to do one in Richmond also, and they give you the PowerPoint, they give you everything. I'll go out and talk to people.
Got it.
So,
And right back at you there, Patty, it's called Code Red Emergency Alert.
see, Code Red, yeah.
Code Red. So it's a little digging to get signed up, but yeah, they're just launching it here, and there's an app for your phone. So for our community to know to get those alerts, Code Red, one word.
And then also on wellness, we're working kind of springing off of that, starting an elementary wellness committee, more for the students. There's a state health award that is out there that you kind of go towards. Abby Christensen and I, the FIDE teacher, we kind of, as we were starting to do some things, we kind of saw we were loosely working towards that indirectly, so we thought, why not just start that directly? So we're just later this month, starting meeting for the first time and working towards that, getting Deb Rodway and stuff involved as well, the food service director. So excited where that can lead us. And should if nothing else, be some good conversations.
Last spring, I know the C leaders presented to the board some of the things they had worked on that year. Could we potentially have some staff members who are okay with it present their SLOs?
Potentially. I'll see what I can do. We have a day of training on the 30th of January, and that'll be just after their SLOs have been reviewed and they have looked at their data, so I'll throw it out there. And
I think it would particularly be informative for the board because that's what our compensation plan is based on. So for the board to have a strong understanding of what an SLO is and what actions staff members are taking and what results can be celebrated. Obviously not individual results,
Right.
but percentages could be shared.
And actually, just to clarify, our compensation plan is not based on SLO, but based on the PPG, so the professional practice goals. But
So then
absolutely,
maybe that's what they should share.
I would do that.
Okay, thank you very much for the information on the report. Item 6 is engage the community through partnerships. We'll touch on, everyone should have gotten in their email box last week, a message from the Chamber of Commerce on a meeting this Saturday from 8 to noon. I think the venue is...
The golf course.
Is it? Did they send something? Okay, good. I have to check. So at Bristol Ridge? Okay. So at Bristol Ridge, so whoever can make that. Okay, good. Okay, so that's all I wanted to touch on that. Anybody else?
One of the things that we covered at CISA, and I'm not sure this is the spot for it, but it seems like it could be because we were talking about, we need to sign up for the services. So Dr. B, you're probably aware of that, or maybe are getting familiar with it. Reviewing the contract for CISA commitments. We've been on again, off again with Northern Lights, is that right?
The area is moving to a big off again.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because they're actually getting more interest from further out places, because they're working on a few plans that, to me, sound very promising. So I'm not sure, I'm sure you put discussions into it, but it was something where I asked, are any of them using it for community ed? And I know we've really had a hard time getting community ed off the ground. So this was another way of doing it, because they do include some certifications for both Cisco and one other one. And I thought, this is maybe something we need to dig in a little deeper in to find out. They just got Fox Valley signed on with some of it too, Northern Lights. So there's a lot more to it than what I've ever been aware of, so I think it's worth a look.
Did you just get that on Friday?
Last week, Thursday? What is today? Yeah, Thursday of last week.
Okay, I was supposed to get it on Friday, but I wasn't there.
Okay, so maybe I'll just give this to you.
Yeah, if I can take it.
You bet. I'm just gonna read my notes, see what it says, but, yeah. And they had received a number, CISA 11 they've done some really good things with financial accountability, and so they're getting awarded the fiscal agent for a number of things. But that was the one that caught my eye as being something that we as a district, and since we're reviewing the contract, maybe a revisit to that, I hope. Because it could really help us expand the community ed or build it.
Build it.
Yeah, so, yeah, right. That's all, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, may I say one more?
I knew you would.
You had some teachers go to Tech Summit. Was that in the cities, right?
We had teams of teachers from each of the building, along with our library media person, go to TIES, which is in Minneapolis.
Okay.
And now they are coming back. It is a fabulous conference. They are coming back, and on our February in-service day, we're having our own Ed Tech Day, where we offer multiple courses throughout the morning, and we have kind of a keynote launch.
Right here?
Right here. And our teachers get to register for 2 sessions of the 10 that will be offered. Right now, we're in the process of gathering session descriptions, intended audience, and then making sure we don't have a lot of overlap because everyone gets pretty excited about some of the same things. So we'll have 10 different sessions going on, and that'll be February 3rd.
Put on by our teachers here, some that are
Our
here?
teachers for our teachers.
Okay, so not based. One more opportunity. Are they gonna get recorded by chance?
Possibly.
I like the sounds of that because CISA's also doing that, and they're trying to put together one for, because, you know, it's, what, an hour away? Not quite. But there's people up there that like that kind of thing, so I'm so happy to hear that we're expanding upon it or doing it here too. That's
This will be our
wonderful.
2nd year that we've done it, and it was very well received year 1. We surveyed our staff. They gave us a little bit of kind of feedback. Most of it was, last year we asked our staff to really make it more universal, something that anyone could go to, whether you're an elementary, middle, or high school teacher. And the feedback was, no. You know, really, can we specialize?
Okay.
So our teachers are now specializing. Some of them still are JK through 12. If it's a teacher tool, if it's very specific, it's primary, intermediate, and so on. And then we're embedding work time. That was the other thing they wanted, was some time to play.
To actually do
So that we can create something, get a login, get an account set up, create a document of whatever it is, so that they can kind of secure some of that learning. Although they have the afternoon PLC time and or work time after that.
February 3rd, limited
February
enrollment,
3rd.
are we?
Yeah. Maxing it out at 25 a girl.
That's wonderful news, I'm very happy.
Feel
to
free
hear
to
that.
come. I'll send you the
Sounds
course
good.
descriptions.
That sounds great, thank you very much.
Mhm.
I know how excited they were when they presented to us too.
Mhm.
I thought the passion was very evident, so, and their enthusiasm, so,
It's a neat way to share what they learned.
Yeah.
Share it out with others.
thank you, that's great. All right, now I will.
No, that's okay. Anybody else? I will have one more. Anyone leaving, walk really careful because I got out of the truck and I look pretty amusing, you know, but I think I'm okay. I'll see how I feel in the morning, but and then drive safe because it's icy out there.
Is
So.
it on tape?
It could be. It was, I still got it.
Penguin shuffle.
It wasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one more. See, I have to read my notes to be reminded of this. You already said that we're doing career planning here?
Yes.
So they became the fiscal agent for Skills for Youth, which is a new grant that they just got. So that, I don't know if we really want to look into that, to complement it, to work with it. Just one more opportunity.
Thank you.
I'll try to be quiet, I'll put my
Give me your notes.
All right.
What merit badge you guys going after?
Citizenship in the community.
Okay. What rank are you?
I personally right now I'm star.
Okay.
I'm first.
Good.
Star.
Nice.
Good job.
Keep working. Yeah. Glad to have you here. All right, advanced services and operations.
Nope.
I don't think we have anything on this list. You have anything on that?
Nope.
All right, we'll go down to item 8, which is our consent agenda, items A through E. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Thanks, Katie.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Marie. Any questions, comments, changes on the consent agenda?
I sure should have.
Becky's stepping up. Credits.
Yeah.
And, is Tasia still gonna?
Yes, Sarah and I
Coach
discussed,
Megan.
he's ahead of day off
Yes,
yet
she
this
is.
year.
She
As
is?
far as I know, she's still doing it.
Okay.
So she's maybe not appreciating.
That's how you look at it.
It's very nice to have him there because he's very knowledgeable about it and I need great connections, yeah.
In a couple of weeks, you'll be saying Rochelle who?
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Mark.
No.
Teasing, come
Yeah.
on.
I'll still call her. Send emails.
Cause that's, well, my number's changed, you've been on my emails.
I'll find it.
How do you pronounce,
Tasia,
Tasia.
Tasia. She's cheerleading advisor.
She's doing a phenomenal job there. so-
Oh, yes.
All right.
So she'll stay on with that too then, right?
Very good. Nothing else on this? Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Caught up in the moment.
You lost your civil rights, you don't have
Item 9 is general information on dates of upcoming importance.
We got the WASB this week,
Yep.
and the semester coming up.
We have a strategic plan.
On the 26th. Again, this
You said
Saturday.
you cannot
I will
make
not
it
be
to
able
that.
to attend that one, so.
So I might step, if
Yeah,
that's
please
okay
do.
with you?
Mhm.
I'll come in and
Yeah,
that's.
that'd be great.
Marie and Pat?
Yep.
Okay.
The middle school plays currently are being rehearsed. They are doing Days of Our Nights, which is a spoof off of Days of Our Lives. So we have 2 full casts this year. We had enough interest, and so we have almost 40 kids out. And so it is Friday night, the 17th of February for one cast, and Saturday afternoon, the 18th of February for the other cast. So it'll
My
be,
niece is very excited.
and as is my daughter, who is playing Stephanie Denara.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that will, the next board meeting is on the 20th, so I wanted to make sure that you knew about it. So you could, it'll be in the Burgundy Room. Concessions will be available, so bring your children.
Okay.
Elementary
full
is kind of
casts.
there.
Huh? 2 full casts, yeah, so there were 19 total parts, we ended up with 38 actual actors, and then we had some kids doing some set work and some technical work.
So it's 2 full casts at the high school, 2 full
Yeah,
casts
great, great.
at the middle
Mhm.
school, and no auditorium. Let's ponder that for a while.
Shall we? That's just putting it on us too. All right, I'm ready.
Elementary is, last year we did the math literacy nights, we had the camping theme, if you remember that. This
Yep.
year we're doing it again on February 9th, we're doing a superhero theme this year. So we'll be back, and at least in my family, I know we have 2 fans of superheroes, so I'm sure we'll have many that night. So it should be a lot of fun. That's at the elementary on February 9th.
February
So,
9th.
and it's right on the front page of our website. It's right there right now. So, and our Title I team does an excellent job putting that together.
I forgot to mention earlier, obviously, sorry. Last week, Monday, when I missed our meeting, I got to go and listen to the honors bands, and I really appreciate what the music teachers are doing for the arts, because when you get to go listen to those kids, and the director was from Edina, and he came over, and he works all day with the kids, and to hear their performance, these are kids that are selected from their bands, so they're ones that are usually really into music. Phenomenal sound. I wish that they publicized more of that performance because it is good. It is really good. And there's a director that got invited to the University of Wisconsin lacrosse, or River Falls, excuse me. He brought in community members that all of those opportunities, if they would publicize more, I feel like, wow, we're so fortunate to have those so close, and yet it just needs more publicity. We have to get good at marketing or something. That'll buy our auditorium.
And an auditorium.
We can start this, yes. Things to look forward to, definitely.
Thanks, everyone. Before we move into closed session, I would like to take a minute and thank Rochelle for 4 years.
Yeah.
Is it 4 years? Is my math?
5 if it is
5?
4 in this
In this,
role.
in this
Yes.
position. So I want to just extend thank you for all the work and the excellent job you've done. And I know this is a time commitment away from your family and running and getting cakes and food and getting the minutes prepared and getting us prepped for our meetings. And I just like to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You wouldn't put yourself on the positive recognition.
Well, thank you for doing it for me.
So item 10, I will make a motion to move into closed session of the board pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 sub 1 sub C and sub F for preliminary consideration of a specific matter which, if discussed in public, could have an adverse impact on the reputation of those involved. Can I get a second, please? Thanks, Marie. And I will take roll call to go in. I'll start with Katie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Marie,
Yes.
and myself, yes. And we will take about 5 minutes and then we'll move into closed session.
We can move.
Yep.